Welcome back to the 24-hour show. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm your host, Brady's Bliss, joined by...
Eddie, live from Los Angeles. It's February 5th, and we had a nice little cool day, 65. It's the middle of the week, and the markets are doing well. We'll go ahead and get right into the S&P and Nasdaq. We're still holding above 6,000, guys. I
Beautiful.
know, I know people are a little shaken by this January that just passed, but don't worry, it's gonna get better. Let's check on Hood real quick. Oh, Hood's doing something. We might make
Ooh.
it to 55 right here. That's pretty crazy. I think I got something for you guys though. We definitely got to celebrate. Here we go. Bam.
Woo! Reminds me of the old Robinhood interface.
No, 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 no. We don't want that. Just kidding. No, those are the good times right there back in the day when Hood did whatever they wanted. But yeah,
Congratulations,
congratulations.
Hoodsters. Normalizing 54 very soon.
Yeah, a lot of people want to come up with something. They want to say hoodlums. They want to say, hood gang,
Hoodies.
hoodies. But
I like Hoodsters.
hoodsters are where we're
Clean.
going with. And if you guys don't like that, let us know because we'll change
Yeah, what
it
are
up.
you going with?
Yeah, what are we going with? But yeah, Hood is definitely making some moves. They got hit earlier. I mean, we're just trucking along though, and I think it's because we have this dude Vlad with just vision in front of us.
I'm
Today,
excited for earnings next week. It seems like people are excited hearing, okay, it's going to be, I believe, next Wednesday, so February 12th. Definitely get your questions in now on the app if you are a shareholder.
yeah, and for those like that, obviously follow Robinhood or looking to get in the stock. If you're not, earnings is always a good time. Hood notoriously doesn't really move on earnings. It takes a while for the market to digest it. We always say that just because you expect to play some options around those dates and things to go crazy, but it never does. But yeah, moving on, we wanted to talk today about tokenization. We did talk about it in a previous episode in regards.
Just briefly, we touched on it. We had a lot to speak about that day, so I'm happy that we get some time to come back.
Yeah, Vlad Tenev has did this op-ed for anyone who didn't watch that last video, and it was dope. It basically threw out an entire argument for why tokenization is important, and how the U.S. is probably falling behind. But he definitely sees it as the future of finance, the future of Robinhood, and overall just like a good technology that's going to open up a new frontier to investors. So
Absolutely, and it allows the little guy to get a piece of the pie.
yeah, and that, I mean, overall, they've it's on brand for them. You know, Robinhood has always got this easy way of grabbing. I've said it on the last couple episodes. Low hanging fruit. It's like, oh, commission free. Let's give them that. Oh, fractional trading. Let's give them that. Oh, who's getting messed around right now? Well, accredited investors are actually the ones that are getting all of the wealth, and retail investors who have the knowledge of risk and disclosure are not even given these opportunities. So we're gonna
Absolutely.
watch a video that you guys may have watched already. It's on YouTube. It's actually a good interview of just Vlad explaining his op-ed and what tokenization means to the company. So
Let's run it.
yeah, let's go ahead and get into that.
There is a crypto comeback taking place at this hour. Take a look at Bitcoin. It is back above the $102,000 level, erasing Monday's DeepSeek freakout, which saw more than $1 billion in futures liquidations. People kind of, pulled the escape cord, little rip cord, and jumped out of the plane. But this is no doubt good news for brokerage app Robinhood, which has seen a massive spike in customers who trade crypto.
Back in the day,
And no
when
doubt
we were under
Robinhood has
50.
democratized both crypto and stock trading with its easy-to-use platform and free no-commission trades. But now CEO Vlad Tenev wants to do more. Tenev wants to use crypto to kick open the doors of investing in companies before
Kick
they go
open those
public,
doors.
something currently reserved only for higher net worth individuals. In an op-ed today in the Washington Post entitled, "An Investing Revolution is Coming, the U.S. Isn't Ready for It," he writes, quote, "The current wealth-based accreditation requirements for private investments are nonsensical and anachronistic. We should start thinking of crypto in a different
Dropping
way,
those
as a
big words.
technology that enables a new era of ultra-inclusive and customizable investing fit for this century. The world is tokenizing, and the United
That's the kind of
States should
CEO you
not
want to
get left
invest in, who
behind.
talks like that.
Vlad Tenev,
Fit
the
for
author
this
of that
century.
op-ed, joins me now in a Fox Business exclusive. Vlad, how do you envision crypto as the vehicle for regular retail investors who have waited and wanted to buy shares in pre-IPO companies, but they haven't been able to?
Yeah, thank you for having me, by the way. Always great to be here.
He's like,
I
whoa,
think
you
there's
just throwing that in the fire.
a big problem, which is that if you're a retail investor right now and you want to invest in AI, it is very, very clear that they do, judging by the market activity yesterday and the overnight on Sunday, you don't have too many options. OpenAI is a private company, over 150 billion valuation. It's only available to select few insiders. And it's not like it was in the 80s where companies could go public at small valuations. The IPO process has gotten cumbersome. Only the biggest companies can do it. And that limits opportunities and upside to retail investors. And so I think that we're in a bit of a strange place when highly speculative assets are free for retail to invest in, but high quality, productive technology startups that are generating significant revenue are off limits. And I think that we now have an administration that's crypto friendly and retail friendly, and we see an opportunity to fix this major problem.
I agree with you
Banger.
that the regular folks out there should be able to invest in private shares of privately held companies, but I have to play devil's advocate here. You talk about high risk. For every startup that succeeds, there are many that fail, and therefore the reason I would think the SEC says, you know what, you have to be accredited to invest in privately held companies is because accredited investors can take a hit if the company goes belly up. There's a lot more risk when you're investing in private companies that are startups.
He about to hit this out the park.
Yeah, I think that these are all good points and it makes sense. But I think right now you have companies like SpaceX worth hundreds of billions, companies like OpenAI and Anthropic that are off limits to investors. And, you know, in the world of crypto, you see some criticism from skeptics that crypto is pretty much meme coin investing. And that's free for customers to invest in. That's open to them. So I think these two things cannot stand. And the right solution is to open up access to these sort of like previously accredited assets. And I think we can do that in a way that makes sure that customers know what they're putting their money into and self-certify that they understand the risks.
You know, the sort of embrace of Bitcoin and cryptocurrency over the past couple of months has been so hard fought. The meme coin issue, doesn't that kind of cheapen what's going on and this hard fought war to have some legitimacy with the crypto
like the
world?
good
Because, you know,
questions,
you think about what happened when you attended some of the inauguration events before the actual President Trump inauguration, and you were at the crypto ball. And there have been a couple of articles written about how there was a jaw drop moment when it was announced at the crypto ball that Donald Trump and Melania Trump had launched meme coins. And there was a quote, at least in the Washington Post, where one of these guys said, his name is
He's like, this goddamn
Mick
two
something.
words
I mean,
keep
he was
following
listed.
me.
He wasn't
Meme
embarrassed to say his
coins.
name. He
Why-
said, you know, it cheapens the embrace of the crypto industry because these meme coins don't have technical, fundamental value behind them.
Yeah, I mean, here's what I would tell you. Right now in the US, it's basically illegal to connect crypto technology to real world assets. This is one of the things I argue in my op-ed. I think the reason that meme coins have become such a big part of the conversation is that listing companies and securities and connecting them to crypto technology in the US is not allowed. But what I tell you is the power where anyone can launch a coin and get access to a global market where there's lots of liquidity and raise capital for a technology project. The fact that it's so easy and that someone with a computer can set it up and do it in a relatively short amount of time shows you that the technology is valuable. And we just need the regulatory clarity to connect this crypto technology to real world productive assets that are currently regulated as securities.
You have a good track record on democratizing investing. Really quick, Vlad, the sell-off yesterday related to the DeepSeek China chatbot. What do you think? Have you looked into this? And do you think this is a reason for everybody to start selling US AI stocks?
Deep fake.
I think when we look at our customers, the overnight session on Sunday was our second biggest overnight trading session. Our customers tend to buy the dip and generally tend to be very, very pro AI. I mean, they want to invest in AI. NVIDIA has been the highest, if not, the highest name in terms of net buying activity on our platform for quite some time. And I think that just shows you the power of what can happen if private markets are open. The unfortunate thing is technology is moving so fast, innovation is moving so fast that very few of the companies that are offering AI solutions and really innovating are public. NVIDIA is among the few. Of course, you have Tesla and others, but OpenAI, Anthropic, not to mention, DeepSeek, they are not. They're private companies whose investors are limited to a very, very small circle of insiders that tend to invest in all of these deals. So I think that the next frontier in democratization of retail investing is going to be making sure that these opportunities are open to retail investors.
Vlad, very interesting stuff. We'll continue to watch and let us know if you make any inroads when it comes to letting a retail investor that's not accredited invest in privately held stock. Thank you so much. It's great to see you.
Always a pleasure. Thank you so much.
No, she might actually be accredited.
Yeah, I mean.
Well, that was a banger interview.
Yeah, that was great. That was
I
great.
love how he answered the question that he wished she had asked instead of answering the meme coin question. He was like, hey, that has nothing to do with me. Let me get straight back to what we were talking about.
I do want to talk
Great
about a couple
media
things.
Training.
So she had a couple good questions though. So when she asked about the protection part of retail investors, what she forgets to mention though is that the SEC is stopping people from going public with this technology or connecting public companies to blockchain, but they're totally missing the fact that millions and maybe billions of dollars have went into projects since 2020 that have been taken out of the community or used for different purposes because there is no regulation. And there's NFT projects out there that have raised multi-million-dollar rounds from token holders, people who bought NFTs, and then they just
rugged them.
They just live in the UK and no one can mess with them. So it is what it is.
I love that he clarified. We need regulatory clarity. We need a framework. We don't need deregulation. We don't need absolutely no regulation. We need clarity. And
he's been begging for clarity.
Yeah.
I mean, this op-ed is obviously one thing, but I remember him doing long threads on X. If you go and you type in those words, probably regulation, you'll find it. But
I'm sure after he got his very first subpoena from the SEC, he was like, okay, let's see how we can work together. And so many companies have, just like CZ, just like Brian Armstrong, also Coin is able to do their fractionalized stock internationally.
Well, that's what I want to for people who don't even understand tokenization. It's very, very simple. It's just technology that allows you, and this is from his paper, to divide and distribute ownership.
And he mentioned crypto technology. I don't think he wanted to say the word blockchain, but to separate crypto and RWA, it's the real world assets. It's just the blockchain, which is basically the public ledger for everybody to know. If you're not into the crypto space, it just allows you for a public transparency.
He definitely didn't mention the blockchain part, and I think that's just because that language kind of scares people.
Yeah.
But the three things he mentioned in that paper was the liquidity. Obviously, there's tons of people with money in crypto. Obviously, disposable income. And then there's the ownership part of it. So, you're able to grab one thing and create a whole bunch of different shares and tokenize. That's the tokenization
Yeah,
part,
one
and distribute
asset
it.
fractionalized into multiple tokens or coins, as you like to call them. But it allows for, like he said, just ownership. It allows for the little man to get a piece and allows for retail
And then
to be
there's
involved in this
accessibility
wealth
as
transfer.
well, because blockchain technology is usually not, located to a certain geolocation. Like people can kind of access it. So those things, but the verifiable part is really important to me, even though he didn't mention that, because there are stuff right now that like you have digital ownership. People own musical rights and stuff like that. I recently bought my mom a unit of a song share from this company called Songvest, and I pretty much get
Great Christmas gift if you're looking to gift investor something.
I get these Excel sheets that pretty much show what's going on, like what streams, Pandora, Apple Music, Spotify, and like I just kind of got to trust it. It's just on this Excel sheet and it's just there, right? There's nothing on chain, there's nothing that I can go check out. And then I just got to trust that they're doing the payouts correctly too in the background, because again, I'm not the one facilitating, collections on, royalties or anything like that. And yeah, it's a lot of trust going on in that situation.
Even though we're hoping for a trustless space, that's what the goal is. We don't need trust, we just need verifiable resources.
Yeah, so I feel like these solve a lot of problems. These three things that tokenization does, but obviously Vlad was pointing to something else, and I want you to go ahead and read this, Britt. He's gonna go ahead and talk about his three solutions that he's requesting happen so that innovation can take place and we can start tokenizing assets and getting ahead of this.
First up, in a global market where anyone can freely invest in thousands of crypto projects of varying pedigrees, the current wealth-based accreditation requirements for private investments are nonsensical and anachronistic. Excuse me. Limiting retail access to these investment opportunities has likely led to a net destruction of wealth by concentrating the upside from private market investing within roughly 20% of the population. If accredited investor rules must exist, they should be based on knowledge of investing and its risks of self-certification, not how rich you are. That ending sentence is such a banger. She points out that suitability requirements. Obviously, as if you're an investor, you need the investment must be suitable for your risk, for your net worth, etc. So he says if accredited investment rules, they must exist, which we do need them to exist. They should be based on knowledge. So if you have the knowledge of investing, maybe you don't have the funds, but you have done your due diligence, you've done your research, you've taken the time, now you want a little piece of the action. That's who this is for. And I love that. Next, there needs to exist a security token registration regime allowing companies to create token offerings that are open to U.S. investors. This would provide an alternative path to traditional IPO, which has become so bloated and labor intensive over the last 2 decades that only the largest companies can justify going public. It is extremely hard, extremely rigorous. The hoops you have to jump through to get your company to IPO. It's he's not lying there. Finally, we need a clear set of guidelines for what US-based broker-dealers and exchanges, both centralized and decentralized, must do to list these tokens and make them available to public legally and safely. Once again, just requesting regulation clarity.
Yeah, this all goes back to like the Jobs Act. They actually, Obama, I think, kicked down the doors in 2012. He was like, we need to get this accreditation thing set to the side because it does feel like a big imbalance of equity. And so they basically started something in 2012, didn't really get to put the rules in until 2016, but then that's how you were able to get things like equities in that were mentioned in the paper and Fundrise and stuff like that, where you can actually get an early hit at these companies that are changing the world.
Fundrise was probably one of the first to do it. Then they've been doing this since, I believe, 2019. I possibly heard about them.
In a normal situation, you would have to find some rich person who also has money just like you, so you can put your money together. It's called a syndicate, and then you buy real estate together.
Commercial real estate as well.
And this is exactly this technology changes that, where you can start investing into these types of deals for $10, and this is just the type of technology that Robinhood and Vlad Tenev specifically wants to see pushed forward to allow investors to get access to everything. And so we'll get into a video of like what Vlad sees 5 to 10 years out, because I think like investing into a company is fun. Investing into a company that still has their founder is even better. But investing into a founder with vision over the long period, that's literally just so different from what's going on now. It gives you comfort to sleep at night, where you're like, oh, these guys are going to be using their money and making all the right moves moving forward. So,
and you're doing a public good. I feel like Robinhood is genuinely a public good for the U.S.
Definitely, yeah. Vlad has changed the game so much, and they continue to still change the game from Robinhood. So let's go ahead and watch this one.
In another sense, crypto is just like technology moving forward, and it's part of a long-running trend that has gone back multiple decades at this point.
I won't make you guys watch the whole thing.
Asset classes.
That's cool. It took some courage to buy the dip, particularly this week. Vlad, this has been a pleasure. Maybe as we close things out, so David and I have the pleasure over the years to host many of the crypto exchange leaders, various CEOs and founders, some of which, by the way, are in jail right now, actually. Others are still with us fighting the fight.
Wow.
And we asked them kind of this question of just like, why are you here? And what does the end game look like for your particular exchange? Let me ask you, like, Vlad,
this was a great
what is
interview if you didn't watch
Robinhood
the whole
here
thing,
in
but-
crypto to do? And what does the end game look like? Say 5 years from now, where does Robinhood want to be with respect to crypto?
I think that 5 to 10 years from now, we want to facilitate anyone, anywhere in the world to buy and sell and hold any financial asset and perform any financial transaction. And we think that Robinhood can provide great service, be the best place for our customers to do that. And I think crypto is going to be a huge part of that, not just as an asset, but more so as a fundamental technology shift.
Well, best of luck to you on that endeavor, Vlad. Certainly propagating crypto is aligned with the Bankless mission. So appreciate all the work that you're doing there. It's been a pleasure.
Thanks, guys. Always happy to be here.
Got to let you know, of course, Bankless listener.
Love the guys at Bingless.
Yeah, that's a good podcast, and I don't know if a lot of people have heard that. That's literally my favorite crypto podcast with our favorite founder. That it doesn't get any better than that. The way they're talking about this tokenization though is really to allow new private equity, and I gotta say from firsthand experience, I've seen hundreds, maybe thousands of people pour money unregulated into the crypto market and get no return back. I've seen it, and just to think, if there was some sort of department that allowed you to go register the security, and you knew if you bought that and they didn't do what they said they were going to do, that they would get in trouble, and like so much more technology and so much more innovation would have came from these last 4 years.
Which is why regulatory clarity is so important, because people are playing with money they can't lose. And in the crypto space, it's really, you have to think of that as gambling. That money will be gone. Don't be paying your mortgage money with that. But we do have some places to go. And it looks like on the horizon, we're going so much higher for Hood.
Let's wrap it up. Hopefully tomorrow we're celebrating a 55. That would be sick. That would be dope to get on here and do a 55 stream with you guys. But yeah, live streams are coming soon. We're about to approach this 1 week in. Let us know, what you like, what you don't like. Any comments really help. We're just like building this channel.
What would you like to hear? What would you like to see from us? Any segments you think that we should implement? Let us know in the comments. Follow us on X. I'm at Brady's Bliss.
Yep, and I'm at Ed Monies.
And our new show, 24-hour show, is live right now. So go ahead and give it a follow. We'll follow back, of course.
Yeah, subscribe too, please. Thank you.
Good night.